Hello there and welcome back to the pod. Today we're taking a look at an interesting strategy concept which focuses hard on a well-known but not too often fleshed out aspect of other strategy games, diplomacy. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. The Great Houses of Calderia is a game inspired by medieval Italian Renaissance politics and intricacy, in which you manage your family members' wants and needs and try to balance them against the demands of your house. The aim is to slowly but surely gain advantage over other houses and climb the ladder of available ranks within the region. While at first glance, Calderia seems to be your usual suspect for a 4X title, where you start out with a little settler, maybe a scout, you plant your first city, you gather resources, you grow your city, you start settling new continents, new areas of the map, you slowly build up your army, and after, let's say, 10-12 hours input, you just dominate the whole entire map. Instead, what Great Houses of Calderia does is pretty much gets rid of all of these and only leaves diplomacy in the picture. There's no more settling, there's no more scouting, no more moving your armies across the map. There's a bit of building left, as within your city you will be able to upgrade different aspects, different areas. For example, your vineyards, you will be able to upgrade your grape production, you will be able to get an upgrade that allows you to produce different types of wine, but you won't be founding new cities. You won't be moving your workers around on the minimap. Instead, what you will come across is very similar to worker placement type of board games, if you're familiar with the concept. You're basically attempting to find the most optimal way to use your limited amount of workers in all the available slots to get the most resources that you need in that very given moment. There's also a tech tree you can manage by collecting points throughout your decision making, but almost entirety of this game is focused around the diplomacy and trading. Your main tools will be using the members of your family, your wife, kids, your kids' spouses, your trusted, loyal companions. You will send them to the neighboring houses, you will send them over on pleasantry visits, you will send them over to maybe court some of their family members, to form alliances, you will send them over to plant spies, which can then undermine their everyday life, for example reduce their production. You will send them over to offer trades. Unfortunately, they, as in the NPCs, also tend to do this. They at some point start spamming you with trade offers, which are rarely beneficial for yourself, so you will have to refuse almost all of them, which always tanks your relationship score that you might have been working on for many turns by that time. And as you come across interactions, for a short time the game switches to a real-time minigame in which you are presented with grids that you're supposed to place your workers or your characters on, and by capturing nodes you're expected to capture the enemy's spawn points. Basically, this little minigame is what decides the outcome of many aspects of the game. For example, whether your negotiation regarding a trade is successful, whether you manage to convince one of the other members of a house to do something, and so on and so forth. Overall, I found the gameplay of Calderia entertaining, but I think there might be two major issues that might put people off. One of them being the theme of the game. Calderia is going to be entertaining for people that enjoy fiddling with numbers, fiddling with little switches, as in moving your workers around from this slot to the other slot, then back again, then to a third or fourth or fifth little slot to maximize the juice you're squeezing out of the fruit that you're attempting to consume. However, I think only very specific select few people that enjoy the strategy genre enjoy this particular aspect of the game, of any strategy game. Instead, I would assume most players play strategy games for either the city building or the building aspect, or the fighting aspect of commanding huge armies into battle. And point number 2 is that oftentimes I found myself just sitting around and wondering what I'm supposed to be doing, whether I failed to spot something, whether there's something that should require my attention and I'm just not realizing it. But in reality, I think I wasn't supposed to be doing anything at that time. I was probably just supposed to be waiting for things to happen. And this is an annoying feeling. Not being sure of whether or not you're doing something right or not, while the only thing you're supposed to be doing is waiting around. I think if anything, this is probably an aspect that should be ironed out during the early access period, trying to get rid of these lulls in the gameplay, trying to make it a bit more dynamic. Other than that, as I was saying, Calderia is an enjoyable title. I think the certain niche that is coveting this game is really going to enjoy it. If modding and homebrew development will be allowed, I think that's gonna keep this game up and running and flowering for many years. And if you think you're someone that is interested in this type of simulation, this type of strategy, this type of management, then don't hesitate, take a look at it and enjoy your time in Calderia.